The UK's budget for growth put a lot of emphasis on encouraging small startups. Is this realistic? Is it likely to succeed? Well, we've got a lot of experience here at Cranfield of working with small businesses and startups. So I'm pleased to welcome David Molian. Now, David, you've got a lot of experience of small businesses, some successful, some not successful. Give me your perspective on the likelihood of success of this.
Well, I think my view, Steve, is it depends on your time frame. If we're all prepared to wait for a number of years, then the emphasis on supporting start-up businesses may deliver us some growth, but it's going to take a considerable amount of time. And it's also a strategy that doesn't take account of a lot of quite important research evidence we have on what kind of businesses create growth in the UK economy.
So tell me some more about that.
Well, we've been working with growth businesses now for 23, 24 years. And we know from our own research and observations that only a small proportion of owner-managed businesses will really grow to be sizable and significant sorts of businesses. Our observations were confirmed in 2009 by a very important piece of research that came out of the National Endowment for Science, Technology and the Arts, which demonstrated that of all the new jobs created between 2002 and 2008, roughly 50% of them came from 6% of independent owner-managed businesses. So in simple terms, a tiny percentage of companies in this country created a hugely disproportionate number of new jobs.
Now, how can the government help to pick winners and make sure they succeed?
Well, one of the ways in which they can help, of course, is to create a favourable macroeconomic climate. What do we mean by that? We mean low inflation, for example, a sense of stability, no huge shocks, no big ups and downs, no boom and bust, so that people can make investment decisions based on a sense of security and knowledge that they're not going to experience severe shocks over the course of the investment which they're making. Another way in which the government can help, frankly, is to simplify things. So I have a lot of sympathy with those leaders of business lobby groups who've been complaining about the amount of red tape and regulation that exists. It's a complaint I hear regularly from a lot of BGP businesses, and certainly simplifying regulation, reducing the burden on small businesses would undoubtedly help, because the less time they're spending on that kind of thing, the more time they can be spending on thinking about growing and developing their business.
Now, what about some specific initiatives, enterprise zones, help for startups?
Well, you can see why these are well-intentioned. I have a certain amount of concern about enterprise zones because I think ultimately they may distort things. So you may attract people into an enterprise zone to start a business, and you may retain them in the enterprise zone as long as they're getting grants and subsidies and so forth. But the minute the tap is switched off, these businesses disappear. So I think we need to be careful about that one to ensure that it's really going to work in the long term. As regards supporting start-up businesses, again, I think we need to be careful. Too much support for start-up businesses could paradoxically be unhelpful. One of the great attributes that successful entrepreneurs learn when they start up a business is how to do a lot with a little. So if you don't have a great deal of money to spend, you become creative and flexible and agile in finding alternative ways to solve problems. If you throw too much money at start-up businesses, the danger is that actually the entrepreneurs don't learn those important lessons, which will stand them in good stead for the whole of their entrepreneurial career.
So, overall then, David, are you pessimistic or optimistic about the plans on the table at the moment?
I think it's a good start, but I think it needs rebalancing. So yes, support for startups, up to a point, is a good thing. But equally, I think we need to look at what kind of support can we give established businesses which have come through the fire of startup, an early stage, have a workable business model, and have a scalable business model, because those are the businesses which are going to provide the growth for the future. So I think the government needs to think carefully about what kinds of support measures are appropriate for that group of companies.
David, thank you very much.
Thank you.